It's been so long, I can't control myself. That's what Nancy whispered into my ear. Hearing her soft voice, my pulse quickened, and I felt heat spreading throughout my body. I never imagined that something like this would happen at my workplace. My name is Bob Harrison. I'm a 32-year-old bachelor and an employee. Currently, I'm working at a major electronics manufacturer. Because it's a big corporation, people admired me, but unfortunately, I've been recently demoted. Bob, give your best at your new place. You're better off working in the country than slaving away at the headquarters. That's what the director said to me with a smirk on his face. The director himself was the one who sent me off to this subsidiary, often referred to as exile. He's famous for his oppressive attitude towards employees he doesn't like, and recently, I was his main target. He criticized every single thing I did and continually put me down. For example, when I asked him about specific corrections on documents that he'd shredded without properly reading, he just told me to figure it out by myself, and making me cater to his reckless whims was truly exhausting. The director supposedly married the niece of the CEO for his career advancement. Because of this, a certain unquestioning atmosphere permeated the company. However, the director was also well known for his womanizing and had a poor reputation among those who knew him. On top of that, he treats his subordinates really bad. Despite this, I had a strong sense of company loyalty, and I took the hardship positively, thinking that overcoming this adversity would make me grow as a person. No matter what the director did, I was determined not to give in and keep working, but it seemed that my resolve only amused him more. When my demotion was decided, the director seemed extremely pleased. As I've worked at the headquarters, this unreasonable transfer was quite a shock. But I steeled myself to face this challenge. I couldn't let my mother down, who was watching over me from heaven. I will always be watching over you from heaven. I still can't forget the look on my mother's face when she told me this, lying in her hospital bed, pale as a sheet. Trying to cheer her up, and I said, "Don't say such weak things. I want to be with you forever." "No, it's okay. I'm already happy enough that you've grown up to be such a kind child." I tear up even now when I remember my mother's gentle smile. My mother passed away around the time I went off to college. My father was the worst person. When I was still a child, my mother protected me from my father, who had started raising his hand not only to her but also to me. And she raised me on her own. Despite being busy with work and housework, she always had a smile on her face and showered me with love. I could never thank her enough. If I were to complain here, my mother would be sad. "Mom, I definitely won't give up." With determination, I set off for my new post. The place I was transferred to was a peaceful countryside, and the environment was very comfortable. The folks at my new position were all kind-hearted, and I was able to enjoy my work. Of course, just because it was a less prestigious role, I didn't slack off, but instead did my absolute best. I believed that if I kept up the hard work, it wouldn't be a dream to get a promotion again. Indeed, a year after being shifted to this new position, I had made significant accomplishments in my work and began receiving recognition. This fact made me relieved. Just when I breathed a sigh of relief, I received an interesting proposition from a colleague named Todd. "Hey, Bob, how about we go to the party for singles?" "A party? Yeah, you don't seem to have a girlfriend either, so it's a chance to meet someone." As Bob pointed out, I didn't have a girlfriend at the moment. It's a bit embarrassing to admit, but I had no experience with dating in my life. When I was at the head office, I had many opportunities to be invited to social gatherings, but I was always busy with the manager's rigorous workload and chased by stress, so I couldn't find the mood for romance. But now, with some breathing room, it seemed like the perfect timing to seek new connections. I'm almost 33, and I'd like to get married at some point. With that in mind, I decided to participate in the party, but it didn't go as smoothly as I expected. The party was held at a luxury hotel, and many more participants gathered than I anticipated. But I couldn't communicate well with the women and ended up feeling isolated. This wouldn't happen in a business context, but casual chit-chat seemed difficult for me who had been submerged in work. In contrast to me, Todd, with his social and lively character, was making vibrant conversations with many women. Neither Todd nor I were particularly handsome, but despite this, the difference in our situations left me feeling disappointed. I thought the women at the party probably saw me as a boring guy. When I was feeling down, I suddenly heard a voice, "Excuse me, may I talk to you?" When I lifted my gaze, I was astonished. Standing in front of me was a woman of unbelievable beauty. I was so captivated by her, who looked as if she could have stepped right out of a TV show, that I couldn't even look away. Of course, I've been looking for someone to talk to since I came to the party. You were alone too, so I thought I'd come and talk. She said this with a gracious smile. I guess everyone's too intimidated to approach because you're so beautiful. Oh, you're a smooth talker. Not at all. It's just that I've never had a proper conversation with a woman other than my mother, and so, here I am in this situation. Oh, you have a good relationship with your mother. That's wonderful. Yes, she passed away when I was in high school, but she was truly a good mother. Oh, I'm sorry. When I mentioned that my mother had passed away, she looked genuinely sorry. But of course, it wasn't her fault. It was me who brought up my mother all of a sudden. But actually, I lost my mother when I was young too. Really, whether it was a blessing in disguise or not, we started to talk about our mothers. At first, I was frustrated with myself for not being able to converse smoothly, but as time passed, I found myself chatting naturally with her. She was not only beautiful but also had a very friendly personality. Before I knew it, I was not only fascinated by her appearance but also by her dazzling smile and gentle manner. Oh, what a joy it would be to have a girlfriend just like her. Just as I was thinking this, the host of the party gave instructions to the participants through a microphone. All right everyone, we will now be ending the talking time. If you are interested in someone, please write down their badge number on the sheet we distributed at the beginning. I nodded at her and left to join Bob. Her badge had the number 28 on it. There's no way I would match with her, but I wrote down 28 and handed the sheet to the party organizer. I had a great time with such an attractive woman. That was enough for me. With those thoughts, I was looking up at the stage of the party when the hostess started to announce the results. At the end of the party, they would introduce the men and women who had successfully paired up. Now, let's start with male number 2 and female number 6. Congratulations on becoming a couple. Each time the host said this, a man and a woman ascended to the stage and were introduced. Before I knew it, the venue had transformed into a festive mood, filled with a peculiar heat. Todd, too, had successfully paired up and ascended the stage. Todd's partner was a slender, adorable woman, and the spectators were all worked up. When the spectators called for a kiss, Todd, going along with the flow, kissed the back of his partner's hand like a prince, eliciting laughter from the audience. Before I knew it, I was carried away by the atmosphere, watching the proceedings and laughing. However, upon hearing the host's announcement, my mind went blank. Now, next we have male number 19 and female number 28. Please come up to the stage. I looked at my own badge, and indeed number was 19. Hey, Bob, you're being called. Urged by Todd, I finally headed towards the stage. There, the woman from before was already waiting for me. I never dreamed that she and I would be paired. What a beauty she is. The lucky number 19 man must be over the moon. When the host said this, the audience chimed in with comments like, "Hey, handsome." It was one thing to be an observer, but being the center of attention was unbearably embarrassing. It seemed like she felt the same, her face turning a deep red. But then, the audience made a further demand of us. Just like they had with Todd earlier, they called for a kiss. I was petrified and didn't know how to respond, but I couldn't just stand there on stage forever. As I was struggling, the woman next to me gave a quick peck on my cheek. In that moment, my mind went blank again as I was surrounded by cheering. I never imagined I would kiss a woman in such a way. Finally, we were allowed to step down from the stage, and she and I looked at each other. I never imagined that I'd be paired with you in my wildest dreams. Me neither, but let's drop the formalities now that we're a couple. Okay, can I ask your name? I'm Nancy Miller. Nice to meet you. Saying so, Nancy extended her hand like a lily. I touched it, feeling my heart pounding. I'm Bob Harrison. Nice to meet you. After ending the party like that, Nancy and I decided to chat for a bit in the hotel lounge. We still knew little about each other. Wow, what a night. Who knew a matchmaking party would get everyone so fired up? I was surprised too. And while it was only for about an hour, Nancy and I talked more about each other. Nancy was 30, and she was in another country until last year, but she preferred being in Japan. When I told her where I work, Nancy looked surprised. "Oh, you work at that electronics manufacturer?" "Yeah, why? Something wrong?" "No, it's just a big company." I felt a little strange about Nancy's reaction, but we exchanged contact details and parted ways. We agreed to go out for a meal another time. We were both working adults, so coordinating our schedules would be a bit of a hassle, but little did I know, an unexpected development was waiting for me. A week after meeting Nancy, a new manager was assigned to our division and was introduced during the morning meeting. I was nervous about meeting the new boss, but when I saw who it was, I was at a loss for words. The one who was there was me, in a relationship with a woman named Nancy Miller. It's Ms. Nancy Miller, who has been promoted to the position of section chief. Until last year, she was abroad gaining experience, they announced. "I'm Nancy Miller. Nice to meet all of you," she exclaimed. In stark contrast to my shock, Nancy maintained her poker face as she greeted everyone. However, I did not miss her gaze towards me and the silent later message she sent through eye contact. Then, Nancy and I gathered in the break room. "Why are you here?" I asked. "I'm sorry, I really wanted to tell you, but I had to keep it a secret due to confidentiality," she replied with an apologetic expression. As for me, I had no intention of blaming her. I was just taken aback by this surprising coincidence. However, Nancy cast a worried look my way. "Do you mind having your girlfriend as your boss?" she asked. "No, not at all. I like you, Nancy," I stuttered. Upon hearing this, her face lit up with happiness. "Me too. I really like you, Bob. I get so nervous and blush whenever I'm around you," she admitted. Indeed, her face was crimson red. "It's been a long time since I felt this way. My body isn't listening to me," she confessed, whispering in my ear. Her whisper sent my heart racing, and my body grew hot. I could not have imagined that such a turn of events would happen in the office. But honestly, I didn't mind that Nancy was my boss. She was a very talented individual. Upon our reunion at the office, we confirmed our feelings for each other and officially started dating. We didn't make our relationship public, but I was able to work happily with her. I felt like I might have a special connection with Nancy. Such happy days passed, but a new incident occurred 1 month after we started dating. Surprisingly, the director who had transferred me came to see me on the name of a routine inspection. Looking at the director with a meaningful expression, I had a bad feeling. "Long time no see, Bob," he said. "Hello," I responded. "I'm sure you're finding this new place quite comfortable. I came today to make sure you can continue working here," he added. "Pardon," as I widened my eyes in surprise, the director laughingly continued. "Well, there are talks of bringing you back to headquarters, but you prefer it here, don't you? So, I came to ask the director to let you stay." In other words, the director was there to prevent my return to headquarters. I trembled at the director's deviousness. "Director, you..." No, quite the opposite. If anything, you should be grateful. That's something I'll discuss with my father." Suddenly, Nancy appeared. On seeing her, the director's face turned pale. Nancy, why are you here? Didn't you know? I'm here to learn. On my father's orders," she responded. What do you mean by Nancy's father? Bob, what are you saying? Nancy is the president's daughter. Be respectful. At that moment, everything clicked into place in my mind. The president's last name was Miller, too. And no matter how much the director was a relative of the president, he would never dare to disrespect Nancy, the president's daughter. "There are also other unpleasant rumors about you. I plan to report everything to my father. Just you wait." "No way." With that, the director collapsed on the spot. It seemed that the fact that Nancy was the president's daughter was only known to a few executives. Afterwards, thanks to Nancy reporting everything to the president, the director's reputation took a nosedive and he ultimately left the company. Apparently, his wife also took this opportunity to investigate the director's personal life, confronting him with numerous proofs of infidelity. Having betrayed his wife as well, the director apparently had no choice but to leave the company. The director is now said to be living alone, chased by child support payments for his children. What goes around comes around. I was surprised to find out that Nancy was the president's daughter, but of course, my feelings for her haven't changed. "Do you mind that I'm the president's daughter? Are you sure I'm good enough?" When I asked her that, she gave me a kiss on my cheek. So, a year after we met, we both received recognition for our achievements and were assigned to work at the headquarters, continuing our relationship while working. And another year later, when things had settled down, we got married. I was worried whether the president would accept me, but he readily gave his approval. About this matter, Nancy said this: "I think my father saw a lot of himself in you, Bob." "What do you mean?" "Like you, my father has been working hard to grow the company despite the loss of my beloved mother. You remind him of himself, and I fell in love with that side of you." Nancy, even when times are tough, as long as you don't give up and keep looking forward, heaven never helps the men who will not act. I looked up at the sky and once again said thank you to my mother for bringing such a good match into my life. "John, please, just once is enough." Her eyes moistened. When my first love begged me like that, I couldn't turn her down. "All right, but I have to warn you, I'm not experienced in this sort of thing. I might not do it well. It's the truth. For the entire 32 years of my life, I have had absolutely no experience in love. Who would have thought, a guy like me, being asked to take on such a big task by the stunningly beautiful Emma? My name is John Miller. I'm a single man turning 32 this year. Right after graduating from university, I started working for a medical device manufacturer, where I'm still employed. I've always been good with computers, so I wanted to utilize those skills at work. However, recently, I was transferred from an administrative position to sales. According to my boss, it's good to have experience in various departments, but frankly, I wasn't happy about it. I've never been good at socializing, and I felt I could perform better in an administrative role. Honestly, I think this job change completely ignored the principle of right person in the right place. Plus, there's a male coworker named Alex in the same department who always seems to have it in for me, making the environment extremely uncomfortable. John, you're really useless. Your sales performance won't improve if you keep that gloomy face, Alex would say, scoffing at me. Alex, who is highly educated and handsome, is consistently a top performer in sales. Haha, I'm trying my best, but it's not going well. Sales is simple. Just keep talking, and you'll sell. I really can't understand why you can't do such a simple thing, he said, laughing at me. Alex even has a certified public accountant qualification and is truly an excellent talent. Everyone agrees that if things continue this way, Alex will become a company executive in the future. In contrast, I haven't been able to achieve good results in the department I was assigned to, and it's depressing to think about why there's such a big difference between us, even though we're the same age. Feeling more down than I expected, I decided to visit the municipal library on my next day off. It's been a while since I came here. This library was a special place where I used to spend a lot of time when I was in elementary school. The wooden building is old, but it has a deep charm, and it made me reminisce about the past. I made many memories in this municipal library with my first love. In third grade, I was surprised when my hand touched a girl's as I was trying to pick up a book in this library. It seems we were trying to pick up the same book at the same time. The girl was Emma, who had just transferred to my class. So I was even more surprised. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's my fault, but I was surprised. I didn't expect to meet you here, John. Me neither. I rarely see other classmates in this library. As we were talking, a librarian who was passing by looked at us. If we continued to chat in the library, we might get told off. Thinking this, I decided to invite Emma to go outside. Normally, I wouldn't feel like this, but I wanted to talk more. I was worried if she might refuse, but Emma gave me a gentle smile and said, sure. So we sat on a bench outside the library. Feeling like this was a bit like a date and made my heart pound, but that's a secret. Emma confided in me. Honestly, I don't really want to go to school. Why? Well, I'm overweight, right? I was bullied at my previous school because of that, and even now, I don't have anyone I can call a friend. I sympathized with Emma's story. I'm also not good at communication and don't have many friends. Me too. I honestly find it hard to go to school. This is the first time I've been able to talk honestly with someone like this, so I'm kind of happy. When I said this, Emma said, me too. Looking back now, I think that was the moment a friendship was born between us. And so, we naturally became friends and met frequently at the local public library. We certainly had conversations at school, but if we were too close there, we risked becoming the target of teasing, with people saying, "Are those two dating?" We both wanted to avoid that, so we kept a certain distance from each other. Over time, Emma also made a few female friends. Her modest and gentle nature probably made the other girls feel close to her. I'm really glad Emma made friends. For some reason, even though it wasn't about me, I was happy to see Emma enjoying herself. When we first met, we were both too young to understand the concept of love, but as the grades went on, I began to realize that my feelings for Emma were special. Emma and I have the same taste in books, and just talking to her is a real joy. Even though I was full of complexes and often felt suffocated in school life, the time I spent with Emma gave me the energy to live. I hope this time will continue forever. That was my strong wish, but when we became middle schoolers, that dream was sadly shattered. In fact, 2 changes occurred for Emma and me when we entered middle school. The first one was that we, who had always been in the same class, were separated when we entered middle school. Because the class composition remained the same for the 3 years of middle school, we've grown apart. The other change, to the surprise of both me and those around me, was that Emma had transformed into a very beautiful girl upon entering middle school. She had been a bit chubby until then, but she became slender all at once, and even the boys who had not noticed her charm before began to make a fuss over her. Isn't Emma just the cutest? She's also top of the class. I really admire her. Watching Emma become the object of everyone's affection, I had mixed feelings. I'd always thought Emma was cute, even when she was chubby. She'd always been self-conscious about it, so seeing her gain confidence was a good thing. However, seeing Emma becoming more popular, more unattainable, I was hit with the fear that our time together was coming to an end. Sure enough, when we got to middle school, the studies got tougher, and with the added pressure of extracurricular activities, we both became busier. The frequent visits to the public library that we used to enjoy in elementary school became a thing of the past. But still, we managed to arrange a meeting at the public library and had a great time. We haven't had much time to hang out since starting middle school, have we? Yeah, and we're not even in the same class anymore. It feels weird. But we should try and come back here when we have some time. With those words, Emma gave me a warm smile. Our friendship was forever. I felt relieved thinking that, but soon enough, my feelings were shattered. John, can I talk to you for a sec? One day during break, I was suddenly called out by a guy in my class named Jack, which surprised me. Jack was good-looking, the ace of the soccer team, and one of the top guys in the school's social hierarchy. What could he possibly want with me? As Jack led me behind the school building, he suddenly grabbed me by the collar. Confused and not knowing what was happening, Jack spoke to me in a harsh tone. You've been hanging around the public library waiting for Emma, huh? I've got my eye on her, so don't try anything funny. Listening to Jack's words, I was shocked. It seemed someone had seen Emma and me meeting at the public library. I tried to defend myself, but Jack was not in a mood to listen. Do you really think someone like Emma would give a guy like you the time of day? Know your place, man. With that, Jack let me go, and I fell to the ground. Jack walked away as if nothing had happened. I was left sitting there, stunned and shocked by what had just happened. A school hero like Jack was interested in Emma. In such a situation, it felt absurd for me to ask Emma for friendship. Emma was always kind to me, but I couldn't help but deep down she may have been annoyed. That night, I cried myself to sleep, my mind filled with thoughts. From then on, I stopped trying to interact with Emma. I used to pass by Emma's classroom, go to the public library whenever I could, but I stopped all that to keep my distance from her. The school was full of students, so naturally, the interaction between Emma and me decreased dramatically. We passed each other in the hallway from time to time, but we stopped greeting each other. Although I felt lonely, I accepted the situation. Emma's father was a practicing doctor, and she was a true lady and the school's princess. There was no way she and I could ever be together. If that's the case, it's better to give up before my feelings of affection become any stronger. And so, my first love quietly came to an end. Since then, I never dated any woman. Heck, I didn't even fall in love with anyone else. I grew older, all the while remaining utterly unacquainted with love. Still, it's undeniable that even now, I can't forget my gentle feelings for Emma. People might laugh at me for still carrying that adolescent crush from middle school. But the feelings I never expressed and kept sealed away never faded in me even as I became an adult. With these bittersweet memories of Emma, I decided to visit the city library, where an unexpected event occurred. Shockingly, Emma was at the library. Our eyes met, and we froze for a moment. Neither of us ever expected to reunite in such a place, even though I thought I would never see her again. 17 years since our last meeting, Emma had become even more beautiful. While I was still frozen in surprise, Emma slowly approached and began to speak. You're John, right? Yes, I am. What a surprise, meeting here. Me too. Should we change places? Everyone is kind of paying attention to us. Just as Emma said. Other library patrons were staring at us because we looked so surprised. And so, we decided to talk outside. Somehow, this felt nostalgic. I ended up having tea with Emma at a nearby coffee shop. I never thought I'd be having a one-on-one conversation with Emma. As we were chatting, suddenly Emma started with a troubled expression. I think I can ask John. You see, I'm being forced into marriage. What? I'm currently working as a nurse at my father's clinic, and a supplier who visits there regularly has been making a pass at me. My father, seeing me single and without a boyfriend, is insisting that I should marry the supplier, but I absolutely don't want to. That sounds tough. So, John, please, pretend to be my boyfriend just once. What? I was surprised by Emma's unexpected proposal. Who would have thought I'd be asked to play the role of Emma's boyfriend? When I was trying to reject the man's proposal, I impulsively lied that I have a boyfriend. But he's so insistent and wants to meet the boyfriend. Even my father is telling me to introduce him. I'm really in trouble. But, John, please, just once. Looking into her moist eyes, I couldn't refuse my first love's request. I get it, but I don't have much experience with this, so I might not be good at it. Thank you. If you're sitting next to me, it's fine. I'll do all the explaining to him. And so, I ended up agreeing to play the role of Emma's boyfriend the following Sunday. The venue was the lounge of a hotel, where the man who proposed to Emma was supposed to come. As I was ironing my shirt to wear to the lounge, I had mixed feelings. I was happy to reunite with Emma and happy that she rallied on me. But I wondered why such a beauty like her is single and not dating anyone. If Emma were as beautiful as she is, she should have many other male friends, so why did she choose me? I spent the day with these questions in my heart, but there was another twist waiting for me. Surprisingly, the person who showed up at the lounge with Emma was my colleague, Alex. Why is John here? Even Alex looked surprised and turned to me. Could it be that you two know each other? Know each other? This guy's my colleague. Saying so, Alex glared at me. Even as we faced each other in the lounge, Alex didn't bother to hide his irritation and was quite dismissive. Why did you, Emma, end up dating John? Actually, we're old childhood friends. That's how we naturally started dating. That's suspicious. I work with John, but I never saw any signs of him having a girlfriend. Alex said, looking at us suspiciously. Emma made up a story, but it seemed like Alex saw right through it. Could it be, Emma, you wanted to turn down my proposal, so you asked John for help? No, that's not true. But you two, despite supposedly being lovers, are distant. No matter how I look at it, you don't match. Upon hearing Alex's words, old memories flashed back. During middle school, the words showered by Jack echoed in my mind. Emma is a lady, very beautiful, but John is a complete loser. No matter how I see it, there is no way Emma could love John. Stop putting him down any further." Not expecting Emma to raise her voice, Alex and I were surprised and looked at her. Emma's cheeks reddened, her eyes watered, and she trembled. "Alex, John is a wonderful man, more than you think. I love John, and I won't allow anyone to insult him, even if it's just acting. To think Emma would defend me." While I was touched, Alex opened his mouth, looking uncomfortable. "Got it, Emma. I'll give up on you. You two, enjoy yourselves." Saying that, Alex got up from his seat with a displeased look and left the lounge with incredible speed. As Emma still had tears in her eyes, I suggested we leave as well and decided to let her cool down in a nearby park. I sat her down on a bench and handed her a handkerchief. "Emma, thanks for defending me. That was quite the performance." "It wasn't an act." Surprised by her words, my eyes widened and Emma began to speak. I've always liked John since long ago. When we got to middle school, I felt like I was being avoided, so I thought I had to give up. But I couldn't like anyone else but John. The reason I asked you to act as my boyfriend this time is because I really wanted to be connected with you in some way." Upon hearing Emma's words, I was struck with a huge shock. Could it be that Emma felt the same way about me? I decided now was the time to tell her how I really felt, and I opened my mouth. "I'm sorry, Emma, for avoiding you, but truth is, I've always had feelings for you." "But why did you avoid me, then?" "Because you became so beautiful, I thought I wasn't good enough." "That doesn't matter. You were the only one who was kind to me even when I was overweight. Actually, I started dieting because I wanted you, John, to like me." 17 years passed since that misunderstanding, but it was now cleared up all at once. We laughed together, and before we knew it, we were in a strong embrace. It was a passionate embrace that seemed to fill the 17-year gap. "I won't ever let you go, Emma." "Thank you. We've had a big misunderstanding, haven't we?" "Yes. But don't worry, we have much more time ahead of us." That's how we officially started dating and got married a year later. I quit my job on this occasion and started working in the administration department at Emma's family hospital. Emma's dad congratulated us on our marriage. When we got married, I had a conversation like this with Emma's dad. "I can trust you, John, to take care of Emma. Thank you." After losing my wife and having to raise Emma by myself, I felt quite rushed. I once recommended she marry Alex, who used to visit us often, but I guess I need to be more discerning. I never expected him to get fired. That's right. Alex, after being turned down by Emma either out of desperation or recklessness, approached many women at his other clients, which led to numerous complaints, and he ended up losing his job. The important thing is not how others see you, but how you two feel about each other. You and Emma truly love each other, so I'm sure you'll make a good couple. I think so too. Because we're not connected by appearances or status. We're deeply connected by our inner selves. That's why, no matter what happens, I'm confident I will always love this woman who was my first love. Please, let's keep this between us. I don't want this getting out at the office. Then, in return, I have a favor to ask. I only had one wish. I am Michael Johnson, a 48-year-old single office worker. Currently, I work as an assistant manager in a publicly listed advertising company. Having spent my previous years caring for my father, who suffered from a serious illness and passed away last year, I hadn't had any romantic involvement until now. But then again, romance is probably out of reach for a lame guy like me. At work, a female coworker named Amanda has been keeping distance from me. "Michael, here's the material for the next meeting." Thank you." Even when handing over documents, she avoids making eye contact. Her manners are impeccable, but I could feel that she disliked me. The male coworker who sat next to me named John, noticed our interaction and said, "Amanda is such a beautiful woman, but she's rather cold, huh? It can't be helped. From her perspective, it's natural to despise an old man who's been kicked off the fast track to promotion." Yes, Amanda, with her rapid promotions, had also become an assistant manager at the young age of 32. Not only was Amanda a career woman, but she was also actively involved in all the company events. Under the previous CEO's policy, there were frequent drinking parties and golf tournaments. I wanted to join as much as possible, but whenever these plans came up, I had difficulty coordinating with the home care nurse, so I couldn't participate as I wanted to. The previous CEO frowned upon my behavior. "Michael, you're not sociable, but Amanda, in comparison, she's amazing. Her dedicated attitude really was admirable." Indeed, the previous CEO disliked me, and I was stuck in my assistant manager role, off the fast track to promotion. Some of my peers even became directors. How embarrassing. Returning home feeling miserable, more despair awaited me. Oh, this place is really a mess. My father, who used to manage apartment buildings, was financially well off and left me a large house. However, since it was an old house, unused furniture and appliances were lying around, turning the house into a haunting mess. I'm not good at housework and let it get dirty to this extent. I really need to do something about this. After searching online for a solution, I stumbled upon a home service website. The site promised that, for a fee, a home helper would visit my house and handle tasks like cleaning and cooking. This seemed perfect for someone like me, who struggles with housework. I immediately called the company and arranged for a helper to visit my house this Saturday. As promised, my doorbell rang on Saturday. Finally, I can say goodbye to my messy room. I opened the door, only to freeze in shock. Standing before me was none other than Amanda. "Is that you, Amanda?" I thought it might just be a coincidence of the same names, but I never thought it would be you. Amanda looked just as shocked as I was, her eyes wide behind her glasses. Usually, she would be dressed in a sharp suit, fully made up, but today she wore a frilly apron and even her glasses. Her minimal makeup gave her a young and cute impression, creating a stark contrast with her usual appearance, causing my heart to race. Amanda in glasses looks really good. Oblivious to my inner turmoil, Amanda was sweating nervously. "Please, let me in. I don't want anyone to see me." "Oh, right, please come in." That's when I understood why she was so flustered. Side jobs were prohibited at our company. "Well, would you like some tea in the meantime?" "Thank you." "But I must say, I'm surprised. Who would have thought you were working a home service job?" "There's actually a reason." Amanda began to explain her situation after setting her teacup on the table. "I come from a single mother family, and due to our financial situation, I had to take out student loans to get through college." "That sounds tough." "It would have been okay if I just had my student loans to pay off, but my sister, who's 10 years younger, just started private college. My salary alone isn't enough to support her, so I ended up having to take on this side job." "I see. Unlike me, whose livelihood is guaranteed by the rent income from a house my father left me, Amanda had no choice but to earn extra money. That's probably why she's always been working so hard." There was no way I could blame her. Amanda looked at me intently and opened her mouth. "Please, keep this a secret from the company." "Well, I have a favor to ask in return. I had only one wish. I wanted Amanda to quit her job as a helper as soon as possible. Since we never know when the company might find out about your side job, I'd like you to stop taking new orders and come to my place once a week. You should quit this side job as soon as possible. You're expected to climb the corporate ladder, so it's not a good idea to walk on thin ice." You're right. I'm also planning to pay off my student loans by the end of this year, so I'm thinking of quitting my side job. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, I'm looking forward to working with you. She nodded and started cleaning right away. She made progress much faster than I expected, and by midday, the first floor was sparkling clean. Phew, I really wanted to clean the second floor and the storage room as well. No, this is more than enough, thank you. I thought she would leave as soon as her scheduled time was up, but Amanda headed to the kitchen. What are you doing? In exchange for keeping my secret, I'll make some meals for you. With that, Amanda made a lot of curry and other meals for me using the ingredients in my fridge. You've done so much, I feel bad. Don't worry about it. See you next week. Saying this, Amanda always went home with her usual business-like bow. The curry she made was delicious, and I was moved by the taste of homemade food after such a long time. And so, a strange relationship began between me and Amanda. Thanks to Amanda cleaning up efficiently every week, the house started to look cleaner and cleaner. Quite a lot of caregiving supplies here, aren't there? She seemed surprised when new diapers appeared from the storage. Yeah, they're leftovers from when I was taking care of my old man. Michael, were you doing caregiving at your own home? I told her about how my father was actually suffering from a serious illness and how, despite getting help from a professional caregiver, there were times when I had to step in when the arrangements couldn't keep up, so I couldn't attend company events. Upon hearing this, Amanda fell silent immediately. Maybe I had made her uncomfortable again. I was worried about what to do, but then, as always, Amanda cooked for me. Tonight's menu was gratin and salad, and as always, the food was professionally done. Amanda, thanks for today, and I misunderstood you, Michael. I was taken aback by her unexpected words. Upon closer inspection, her eyes were teary. What's wrong, Amanda? Despite being so busy with caregiving that you couldn't even join golf games, I had been rude to you without knowing any of these circumstances. I'm just so ashamed. As she started crying her eyes out, I got flustered. I never thought I would see this cool woman cry. Calm down, Amanda. Let's sit down and have some tea first. After drinking some tea, she seemed to have calmed down considerably. You see, I'm small and look younger than I am, right? I often get underestimated because of it, so I was acting tough. I was even rude to you, Michael. I was so naive. From Amanda, who was tearfully speaking her mind, I could sense her honest and innocent personality. That was when I realized that I had misunderstood her as well. Sure, it's rare for someone as young as you to become an assistant manager, but you don't need to be so tense all the time. Everyone knows how good you are at your job. Is that so? Yeah, so relax. I know it's hard to take advice from someone like me, an assistant manager at this age. Oh, would you like to have dinner together, Amanda? I proposed out of desperation to lighten the mood, and to my surprise, she accepted. Yes, I would love to join you. Whether it was a case of every cloud has a silver lining, we enjoyed our meal while chatting. I never dreamed we would become this close. After finishing dinner, when it was time for her to go home, Amanda again apologized for her past rudeness and bowed her head many times. It's okay. Don't worry about it. The past is not what matters. It's the future. Thank you. Amanda gave me the bright smile as she was leaving. Needless to say, my heart skipped a beat. From that day on, Amanda had a softer atmosphere about her at the office. She used to be rather aloof, but she started responding with a gentle smile. Seeing this change in Amanda surprised the other employees. Amanda seems to have suddenly become kinder, hasn't she? According to Amanda, the stress of having multiple jobs had been getting to her. But recently, during our meals together, She started consulting with me about her work. It seems that Amanda is applying our conversations for her own learning, and she said, talking about it made me feel refreshed. Perhaps the stress relief brought some ease to her mind. Well, whatever it is, it's good. Do you think she's got a boyfriend or something? I wouldn't know. At John's words, I was taken aback. I feel I'm not a match for a promising woman like her. The moment I confronted this reality, I felt my mood darken. Before I knew it, while I was spending time with Amanda, I began to feel a special feeling. I think I was just a work colleague for Amanda. I might need to put some distance between us before my feelings for her get any stronger. A later event solidified this resolve. One day, John and I went out for lunch, and he started a conversation as if he suddenly remembered something. Yeah, right. Lucas said something strange at a drinking party with his classmates the other day. Lucas said something. Yes, Lucas happened to pass by Michael's house on his way home from a drinking party with a friend, and a woman who looked like Amanda in an apron walked into Michael's house. Lucas was also drunk, so everyone was laughing because they thought they had seen it wrong. John laughed it off, but I was panic-stricken. The event I dreaded had finally happened. Right now, the story is still misunderstood, but we don't know when the truth will be revealed. And the day someone suspects a romantic relationship between an old man like me and Amanda, that would be truly pitiful for her. I decided to confront the situation, and on the following weekend, I told Amanda, I'd like this to be the last time you come over. She seemed utterly puzzled by my words. Did I do something to upset you? Absolutely not. On the contrary, you did an excellent job, Amanda. The thing is, it seems our story is making rounds at the office. Our story? Yes, it's just an unconfirmed rumor for now. But you never know when the cat will be out of the bag, so I think it might be safer for you to quit the side job at this point. But I think with this much, you'll probably have about a year's worth of salary. Saying this, I handed her an envelope full of cash. I can't accept more money than I've worked for. It's okay. You see, this is the money I got from selling the unwanted items that you helped clean out from the storage. Yes. We found a lot of items, such as jewelry my mother used to wear and bottles of foreign liquor from the storage. Thanks to Amanda's thorough cleaning, I was able to sell these at the recycle shop and make some money. Amanda stood silently, staring at the envelope. Besides, a promising lady like you shouldn't be spending time with an old guy like me. Let's use this chance to get back to how things were. Pardon. I don't want that. Amanda, tears in her eyes, rushed into my arms. This was the first time I was ever embraced by a woman in my life. But the surprises didn't end there. Amanda, I love you, Michael. My mind went blank at Amanda's confession. Why would an exceptional beauty like her falls in love with a dull old man like me? Why would you like someone like me? Because, Michael, you always worry about me, even though I can be rude, and you always lend me your ear when I need to talk. Even if I quit the side job, I don't want to lose my time with you, Michael. I want to be by your side. Always. I never thought that she had such feelings for me. I opened my mouth slowly as I savored this moment of happiness. Thank you. I actually like you too, Amanda. I thought I should distance myself from you for your own good. But if you feel this way, I too want to be with you. Michael. We held each other tightly. Without saying any more, we were filled with happiness as we recognized our love for each other. We thought everything was resolved and breathed a sigh of relief, but a few days later, we were both called in by the company's boss. As we nervously made our way to the boss's office, he threw a question at us. I overheard rumors about you two. I wouldn't have interfered if that was it. but someone made an anonymous accusation about Amanda's side job as a home helper. I thought that Michael knew something about this matter, so I called you to my office." Michael and Amanda exchanged glances at the boss's words. I had heard a story about Amanda getting into trouble for stealing clients from her colleagues in the past. Perhaps this anonymous accusation could be the work of someone harboring resentment against her. Seemingly understanding there was no use in trying to lie her way out, Amanda admitted to her side job. "Yes, you're right. I have been having a side job," she confessed. "So, but why? Someone as talented as you, Amanda. She didn't take on the side job for personal gain. She did it out of financial necessity. Also, I bear responsibility as I knew about it and requested her services. Please, punish me as well." "Michael." The boss paused for a moment to think, then spoke up. "Actually, unlike the previous boss, I'm actually okay with employees having side jobs. I realize there are situations like Amanda's, and I've been thinking about revising the company rules. Of course, you won't get off scot-free. I'm going to need written apologies from both of you, but there will be no further disciplinary actions, and I have no intention of leaking this. I expect both of you to continue working hard." "Boss." "Thank you so much, boss." Thanks to the boss's generosity, all we had to do was submit written apologies. The current boss had been in his position for about a year, and this situation made me deeply understand why he became the boss. Since then, Amanda formally quit her side job and devoted herself more than ever to her work. And an unbelievable event occurred a year into my relationship with her. I received an appointment from the boss to become a department manager. Me, a department manager? Yes, the previous boss seemed to value networking at parties and such, but I think personal character and job performance are far more important. You are a more outstanding and thoughtful talent than you believe you are." "Thank you, sir." At the boss's words, tears welled up in my eyes. I had thought promotion was far beyond my reach, and never dreamed that I could be appreciated by someone in this way. On the way home that day, I bought a bouquet of roses and a ring for dinner with Amanda. "Will you marry me?" Now that I had gained confidence in myself, that's what I wanted to tell her. How was that? Your subscription to the channel will be a great motivation for our production. See you in the next video.